Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into the thrilling world of elite football, specifically the high stakes of the FIFA Club World Cup. We've got two semifinals shaping up, Chelsea versus Fluminense, and what promises to be an absolute heavyweight clash between PSG and Real Madrid.
Yeah, and to really get a handle on what's coming in those matches, I think we need to unpack a recent game, one that really showcased incredible dynamics, some individual brilliance, and just sheer mental fortitude.
Okay.
We're going to extract the core insights from that unforgettable clash, PSG versus Bayern.
Right. So our mission today is basically to cut through the noise, pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this incredible fixture.
Exact.
And help you understand not just what happened, but why it matters. Kind of a shortcut, to being truly well-informed about where these top clubs are right now.
Let's do it.
So let's unpack this. Okay, we have to start with a moment that just, it rocked the game, didn't it? And had these huge implications. The devastating injury to Musiala. It really felt like a punch to the gut for Bayern.
Oh, it truly was a really, really tough moment. Musiala suffered a fibula fracture, which is incredibly serious.
Wow.
Yeah, the initial prognosis suggests he'll be out for a minimum of 4 to 5 months, possibly even longer.
Oh, man.
And this is particularly tough because, he's known as such a fierce fighter, loves the game. He'd just come back from a previous injury.
Right.
Only to face this severe setback in the Club World Cup. It's a huge loss for him personally, and a significant blow to Bayern's attack.
And there was some immediate controversy around it too, wasn't there? Especially involving PSG's goalkeeper Donnarumma. So what exactly happened there? Why was it so debated?
Well, the incident involved Donnarumma charging out, to clear the ball. And look, from a keeper's perspective, he was absolutely justified in going for that ball. It's his area to command, right?
Oh.
And he committed fully to win it. However, the turf itself wasn't considered to be in great condition, which might have played a part in the unfortunate outcome. It's just one of those high-speed collisions, a split-second decision with really devastating consequences.
I heard Bayern's Manuel Neuer was pretty critical of the challenge.
He was.
But then others, like Thibaut Courtois, they came to Donnarumma's defense pretty quickly. What does that tell us about how these elite keepers see things like this?
It's a fascinating split, isn't it? Courtois, for instance, he publicly stated he wouldn't really blame Donnarumma much.
Right.
What stands out, though, I think, is that even Donnarumma himself looked visibly devastated when he later realized how serious Musiala's injury actually was.
Yeah.
Initially, even the Bayern fans were appealing for a penalty, but their concern very quickly shifted to just how bad the injury was. Yeah. It really puts the human side of the game into focus, doesn't it?
It does.
Beyond the tactics, these are athletes, and a serious injury to a fellow pro, it affects everyone out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, beyond that really unfortunate moment, how were Bayern looking in the match overall, particularly their defense in that first half? Did losing Musiala immediately change things?
Well, actually, Bayern showed fantastic pressing and intensity early on. They really matched PSG's energy levels in that opening half.
Okay.
You had players like Pavlovic, really industrious, and Kim doing great work in midfield, often, shielding the back line. However, their defense, it looked a bit problematic right from the start. Like it needed maybe a bit more recruitment to really solidify things back there.
Right.
We saw moments where even talented players like Elise maybe didn't have their best game, losing the ball in tricky areas and, basically creating chances for PSG. So that highlighted a weakness PSG could exploit even before, things really went sideways.
And what about Neuer? You mentioned his comments, but how was his own performance in goal? Did he seem affected by the incident or anything?
Well, despite that specific incident with Musiala and maybe some recurring concentration dips we've seen from him, like in that Champions League game against Real Madrid where that pass outside the box nearly caused big trouble.
Yeah, I remember that.
Despite those moments, his overall performance in this match was, frankly, fantastic and commanding. He made some really great saves, including a crucial one-on-one against Barcola. And he was effective with his passing, organizing the defense. It's just those brief lapses in concentration that are becoming a bit of a noticeable pattern, something I'll need to watch out for.
Okay, so everything up to this point was intense. But what happened next? I still can't quite wrap my head around it. The game took this absolutely stunning turn. PSG somehow finding themselves not just down to 10 men, but then, incredibly, down to 9. That must have just fundamentally changed everything on the pitch.
It absolutely did. And it brings up this huge question about, game management and discipline under that kind of intense pressure. The referee, Anthony Taylor, well, he made 2 correct red card decisions. That's really key to understanding how the match unfolded. There wasn't much ambiguity, really, despite the reaction.
Okay, so break down the first one for us. What exactly was Pavard thinking there?
Well, the first red was for Pavard for a high foot challenge on Goretzka.
Oh.
Yeah, his timing was just completely off. It was like a clear red card offense, reckless, dangerous, no real argument there.
Right.
And boom, PSG are instantly down to 10 men. In a semifinal, that's already a massive, massive hurdle.
And then just shortly after that, another one. That must have sent actual shockwaves through the team. You don't see that very often at this level.
You really don't. Lucas Hernandez got the second red. It was for an unnecessary elbow on Miller.
An elbow.
Yeah, the view was clear, and maybe the contact wasn't like super forceful, but it was definitely an intentional elbow. It gave the ref basically no choice but to show red. And that put PSG in this unbelievably challenging spot, playing with only 9 players. I mean, imagine the pressure, the sudden shift in a semifinal. It's almost unheard of.
Luis Enrique, the PSG coach, he must have been absolutely tearing his hair out on the sideline.
Oh, you could see it.
2 red cards in a semi. I mean, most coaches, you'd think they'd just shut up shop, wouldn't you? Try and hang on. But PSG seemed to just defy all expectations.
They absolutely did. His frustration was, totally palpable. But that's exactly where things turn. While most teams would, like you said, retreat, this is where PSG's unique, almost audacious mentality really came through.
Yeah.
You'd expect a team down to 9 in a semi to just park the bus, right? Try to defend a lead or at least minimize the damage. But PSG showed this relentless attacking instinct. They didn't just survive, they kept creating, even dictating play at times. It was remarkable.
So, despite being down to 9 men, PSG managed to score a second goal. That's just, it's mind-boggling. How on earth did they pull that off under such extreme pressure? And maybe walk us through the brilliance of both their goals.
Okay, yeah. Let's rewind a sec to their opening goal first, because that also showed some real individual brilliance, kind of set the tone.
All right.
Joss, who was just fantastic in midfield, he won the ball from Harry Kane, and honestly, Kane, he really shouldn't be losing possession there, in that key area. So Joss drives forward, combines really nicely again, then delivers this perfect cutback pass to Dybala. And Dybala finishes it brilliantly. Neuer was kind of flat-footed, and Bayern's defending right there was definitely poor, almost a lapse.
Right. And that put PSG up 1-0?
Exactly.
Okay, and then the second goal, with only 9 players on the field, that must have been something truly special, almost like against the laws of football.
It was phenomenal, just a phenomenal display of attacking skill and mental strength. It defied logic, really. Dembele, who'd come on as a sub for Barcola.
Right, the substitute.
Yeah, he was a genuine game changer. He got the ball near the halfway line, took this incredible first touch, linked up beautifully with Joss again, who'd made this smart run down the right. Dembele then just unleashes this rocket from the right side of the box, and it smashes off the crossbar. It would have been an absolutely stunning goal on its own.
Wow, off the bar. But they didn't just give up after that, did they?
Right.
That's what's so amazing.
Not at all. And this is where their collective cool-headedness really shone through. Instead of panicking after hitting the woodwork, they just, recycled possession, patiently worked the ball wide to the right where it eventually found Hakimi. And his dribble then, weaving past like 3 or 4 Bayern players.
Incredible.
It was incredible. They looked maybe a bit disoriented, maybe tired from having the extra men, but Hakimi's run wasn't just individual brilliance, it showed Bayern were kind of losing their grip.
Yeah.
And Hakimi's decision-making then to perfectly cut it back to Dembele, who finishes it first time into the side netting. It wasn't just a beautiful goal, it was like a tactical slap in the face to Bayern, given PSG only had 9 men.
Right.
It just perfectly summed up PSG's attacking belief, even when they were so severely shorthanded.
So beyond the goal scorers, Dembele and Dybala, who else really stood out for PSG to make something like that even possible?
Well, Vitinha had a stronger second half, definitely grew into the game. But Yas, for me, was arguably the standout midfielder overall.
Yeah, you mentioned him winning the ball for the first goal.
Exactly. He showed incredible aggression, great ball carrying through the middle, and made crucial defensive contributions too. Hakimi, as we said, was brilliant at right back, just consistently producing moments of individual quality, those passes, the through balls. Even Nuno Mendes on the left showed flashes of real brilliance. These players were the difference makers, you know? They stepped up when the team desperately needed them and proved why they're considered elite.
And what about Bayern's late attempts? Did they ever look like getting back into it? Did they create enough chances?
Well, Kane had a decent header disallowed for offside. That would have really put the pressure on PSG late on. And later, Bayern appealed pretty strongly for a penalty. A high-foot challenge by Nuno Mendes on Miller. It was a very close call, definitely one that could have changed the game.
Okay.
But after VAR check, the referee correctly ruled there just wasn't enough contact to give the penalty. It wasn't Bayern's night to find that crucial breakthrough, despite pushing.
So if PSG's win here was this masterclass in mental strength, like you said, it almost feels like Bayern got a pretty stark lesson in maybe a fragility. Is that too harsh? Or could it just be an off night? Does it reveal something deeper?
That's a really good question. And I think it might be more the latter, honestly. Well, yeah, any team can have an off night. The way Bayern reacted to the adversity here is, I think, pretty concerning for them.
How so?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, PSG's victory wasn't just about tactics or skill, though they had plenty of both. It was really a profound display of psychological toughness, of sheer confidence. They have this top-class mentality. They kept attacking, kept asserting themselves, even when two men down. They're versatile, they can counter quickly, and their wingers were just superior on the day. Their belief in what they were doing was just, palpable, unwavering.
And Bayern, then. What did this match really reveal about where they are right now and their readiness for, say, winning these major trophies?
Well, for all their moments of quality, Bayern seemed to sort of unravel after that first big setback with Musiala's injury. It wasn't just losing the player, it was how they responded to things going wrong that's telling.
Right.
They played well in spells, yes, but they clearly struggled to maintain their intensity and composure once things started going against them.
Okay.
And that suggests they really need to improve their mental resilience in these high-pressure games. To win the big ones, like the Champions League or this Club World Cup, they'll likely need more signings, especially, I think, in defense. And just a stronger collective ability to sustain their focus and intensity for the full 90 minutes, even when the momentum shifts away from them.
So looking ahead then to these Club World Cup semifinals, what are you most excited to see? That PSG versus Real Madrid game. I mean, that feels like it could be absolutely legendary.
Oh, absolutely. PSG versus Real Madrid promises to be a blockbuster, a proper clash between what some people are calling the best club team right now, PSG, and the mighty Real Madrid.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredibly exciting, a real test of wills, of tactics, of individual brilliance. And of course, Chelsea versus Fluminense, that'll be a strong fixture too. Plenty of its own drama and tactical battles to watch.
So the flair of PSG's attackers, Dybala, Dembele, the others, that's something we'll definitely be watching for. But with those key defenders, Pavard and Lucas Hernandez, now out because of the red cards.
Big problem.
How might their defense hold up against a team as lethal as Real Madrid? That feels like a massive tactical headache for Luis Enrique.
It's a huge question, isn't it? Probably the biggest elephant in the room for PSG heading into that game. Without Lucas and Pavard, it's likely Beraldo will play alongside Marquinhos in central defense. Now, Beraldo is a good player, no doubt, but missing two key defensive starters against that Real Madrid attack, it just adds this intriguing, almost unpredictable element to what's already set to be a monumental clash.
Yeah.
What's really fascinating here, I think, is seeing just how much the mental game, that collective belief, and the ability to adapt to these unexpected curveballs truly impacts performance at this absolute elite level of football. It's not just about the names on the team sheet, is it? It's about their collective mindset under extreme pressure.
That was an incredible deep dive. A football match that was about so much more than just goals or stats, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
We saw how a single injury can just shake a team right to its core, how controversial decisions can completely flip the script, and most importantly, how this unshakable mentality, even facing a two-man disadvantage, can somehow lead a team to victory against absolutely all the odds. It really kind of redefined what seemed possible.
It did. The ability to still attack effectively with 9 men, the sheer individual brilliance we saw under that intense pressure, and just the resilience to overcome those huge setbacks. Those are the real nuggets of knowledge from this game, I think.
Yeah.
It just highlights that confidence in football isn't just, a feeling or some buzzword. It's a tangible driving force that actually shapes results. It can turn the impossible into the inevitable sometimes.
So for you, our listener, maybe think about this. In any challenging situation you face, maybe not on a football pitch, but in life, how much does that unwavering belief, that attacking mindset, truly matter when the odds seem completely stacked against you?
It's a powerful thought.
Definitely something to ponder as we look forward to those monumental semifinal clashes. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.